Welcome back, all you beautiful bulletproof handy men and women. So today what we're going to do is I'm going to take you in and show you how to create an invoice inside the Jobber software. Do want to remind you guys I do a lot of free webinars for Jobber, so if you're interested in attending one of them, go to the description section of this video or any of my videos and you should find some links to get yourself registered for the webinars. Also, if you don't currently have Jobber and you'd like a free trial, you can get a free 14-day trial by using my link in the description. You'll also get 20% off for the first 6 months. But diving into creating the invoices, there are going to be multiple ways to do this. So I'm going to show you 4 different ways to get into the invoice that you're creating. And then on the 4th one, I'm going to show you how to actually fill everything in for that invoice. So surprise, surprise, if you want to create an invoice, you can click the Create button and then come over here and click Invoice. Next thing you're going to have to do is you're going to have to pick a property manager. So for this one, we're going to pick Mr. Billy Bob. And once we've picked Mr. Billy Bob, all the jobs for Mr. Billy Bob that have not already been invoiced are going to be showing up on your screen here. So if you know you want to invoice one of these 3 jobs, you can just go ahead and select it and click Next Step. However, what I'm showing you, the first way to get to an invoice, which is not my recommended way, is just simply to do Create Invoice, select your client, and then don't select any of these jobs and just click Next Step. Let's say one of your property managers asked you to drive over to a property to take a look at something. It wasn't an official job. You went ahead and took a look at it. You took some pictures and some measurements. You sent him some information, and he said, hey, go ahead and invoice me a trip fee for that job. I want to pay you for your time. So if that happens, I do recommend that you go back in time and you actually create a job and then close the job and then use that closed job to get to the invoice, just simply to track everything well. But if you don't want to do that, you can take this route and just come right in here and you're going to have a blank invoice that's not attached to any particular job. And you're just going to fill out all the information from scratch without a job attached to it. But we're not going to fill all this out yet. I'm going to now show you the second way to create an invoice. So let's go back to the home screen first. I want to show you everything from the home screen. And what we're going to do now is we're going to create an invoice from a job. So you can click on Create, and you can click on Invoice. And again, you can select any of the clients that you want to select. And we're going to go ahead and select Mr. Billy Bob again. But this time we're actually going to use one of the jobs that are under Mr. Billy Bob. So let's choose Demo Job number 1. And click Next Step. And now we're basically in the same page. The only difference is now we have a service address attached here, and this invoice is now attached to a job. So they're going to be linked together in your software so that you can track them. And again, we're not going to actually fill out this invoice yet. I'm now going to show you the third way to get into the invoice that you're going to create. So let's go back to the home screen again. We'll start all of these from the home screen. And what we're going to do is we're going to go into our Jobs tab down here. This is the most common way that you're going to be creating invoices. And within this Jobs tab, as you can see, we've actually got one right on top that says Requires Invoicing. And the reason this says Requires Invoicing is because this job has been closed out, but it hasn't been invoiced. Now, you'll also notice right below here is one that says Action Required. That means a task has been closed out, but the job has not been closed out yet. Let's go ahead and click on this job that says Requires Invoicing and open it up. And the reason it says Requires Invoicing is because the job has already been fully closed out. The tasks were done and the job was closed. So we're going to go ahead and click Generate Invoice right up here at the top. And again, we're back into our invoicing page, but we're not going to fill all of this out yet because, as I said, I've got 4 ways to show you. So let's go to number 4 now. Let's go back to the home screen. By the way, you don't have to go home. You could just come straight to jobs. I just like to start all these from the home screen. So here we are from the home screen. Let's open up jobs. Now, we already went into this one that says Requires Invoicing, but I'm going to show you the way that I'm usually doing my invoicing with my business. This makes sure that everything always gets accounted for. And what that is this Action Required one. I'm going to open this up, and I'm going to show you what I mean by action required and tasks and closing invoices. So this is a job that I have assigned to either myself or somebody else. And either me or somebody else went out onto this job and we did the work that needed to be done. And then we completed the visit. However, when we completed the visit, we did not close the job. And the reason is this: I'm the guy that does the invoicing. I'm the owner of the company. It's my name, it's my reputation. So I don't ever have my guys closing jobs. The job is not completed and ready to close until I've looked it over and decide everything needs to be closed out and invoice. So my employee goes in and they actually click on their visit and they complete their visit. And then they're prompted to say, do they want to schedule a new visit or leave as action required or close job? And I always have them leave as action required. That's for me so that I can see the prompt that I just showed you guys where I clicked on the one that said action required. That's how I know that the task was done, but the job wasn't closed yet. So I'm now going to come in here and I'm going to scroll to the bottom and I'm going to look at the internal, see right here, internal notes and attachments. I have my guys when they're doing work or myself when I'm on the job. This is where I upload my pictures and I write the description, or where my guys upload their pictures and write their descriptions. So I can open these up and I can take a look at them, make sure everything looks good, look for any other notes, make sure everything's fine. And when I'm ready, I then scroll up to the top here and under more actions, I say, go ahead and close this job. Now, once the job's closed, then I can go into the Generate Invoice tab, and it's going to show me this job right here. It's the same one. I'm going to click on Next Step. So now we're inside the invoice. Now we're to the part where I'm showing you how to actually complete the invoice. So the first thing I always do, actually, I don't want billing address. I want service address. So I'm going to copy the service address line, and I'm going to copy and paste it into this subject line up here. And then I'm going to follow it up with a 1 or 2 word description of what the job is. I might say punch list. For this one, I'm going to say toilet. And I'm going to come over here. If there's a salesperson who was responsible for this, then I'll go ahead and say, it was Bob Smith who was the salesperson. Ask client for review, yes or no. This is a new feature Jobber has. It costs a little bit extra, but it's going to get you a bunch of Google reviews. I'll do a separate video on that, but I'll just leave that saying yes for now. Tenant contact, pets, all of this is filled out. If I have a client that needs me to insert the bill to, then this is when I'll insert that. And by the way, these are all custom line items. I do have a separate video for how to build these custom line items. All of these underneath ask client for review. All of these are things that I've built, and the reason I've built them is because I need to track these things. So make sure all of your custom line items are filled out if you have any. Come down here and read this over. Just make sure it's all good. You can add new line items if any additional work was done that you need to add on to here. And then finally, down at the bottom, you can type a message out to the client if you'd like to. Make sure the price is right. You can click on this to add discounts. Your discounts can be in dollar or percentage discounts, either one. So if I wanted a $50 discount, I could just type $50 right here. If I wanted instead to do a 50% discount, not that I would do that, so let's change that to, let's say, a 15% discount. It's going to total up all the math for you and put it all at the bottom. Add your taxes if you're doing sales taxes. Add a deposit if you're doing a deposit, but I don't think you need to do that. And then under internal notes and attachments, you can click this little drop down, and as you can see, the picture that was uploaded and the description earlier is still inside, attached to this invoice from the job. These transfer forward, so make sure those are still there. And then you can either click Save Invoice, in which case it's just going to save it on your computer, and it's not going to do anything with it. Or you can click Save and when you click Save and, your options are you can send it as a text message, or send it as an email, or go directly to collect payment if you have clients with cards on file where they've instructed you and you have an agreement with them that you can just go ahead and collect payment. Or perhaps you were already paid and you're just going to document that payment here. But what we're going to do, the most common thing you'll be doing is save and send as email. You might also do text. When they receive these invoices, whether via email or text, they will have a button they can click to make a secure payment online, either from their phone or from their computer. But it's mostly going to be send as email. So we're going to click Save and Send as Email. And then once we're inside the email here, as you can see, Billy Bob's email address is already auto-populated because we added that when he was a client. Now, let's say you need to send it to Billy Bob's administrative assistant too. then you can click inside this blank space, and if you've sent Billy Bob's admin person an email through this account, through this client before, it'll be there auto-populated for you to go ahead and just click on and send. Or if you want to add even more people, you can come over here to the right and you can click on these three dots right here and you can add CC email, change reply to email, or customize template. We're just worried about add CC email, so you can add that and you can type in another email address to send this to. We're not going to do that. I just want to show you that you can. Down here, you can adjust what the subject line says. You can change and edit whatever the wording is that's auto-populated in here. There's also a button to send you a copy. I used to do that. I don't do that anymore. It just clogs up my junk mail. So up at the top on the right, you can, number one, if you want to add more files and attachments that you didn't already add during the job or the invoicing phase, you can add those now. There's a button you can click to add an invoice as an attachment as a PDF, and any pictures you uploaded. So here's the picture we uploaded on the job. We can go ahead and click on this picture right now and just attach it to this email. So they're also going to get a picture of the completed work. And then finally, down at the very bottom, you can click send email, and you are done with this invoice. This is it. Now, of course, if you've already got payment, or when they collect payment, maybe they do a direct deposit, you can click collect payment and you can come in here and annotate that they've sent a payment, but that's going to be for the collecting payments videos, not for this video. Just want you to see that that's there. So that's about it. This is how you create and send an invoice in Jobber. There is a lot more functionality. I'll be doing all the videos I can do on all of the functionality Jobber has, but I am trying to keep these confined to individual subjects. And this is the subject of how to actually create and send an invoice with Jobber. So to remind you guys one last time, I do Jobber webinars. Go to the description of this video or any of my videos, and you should be able to find some links you can click to get registered for some of those webinars. And if you don't already have Jobber, there's a link in the description for you to get a free 14-day trial. And if you use my link, you'll also get 20% off for the first 6 months. Other than that, I love you guys. I hope you're out there killing it, and I will see y'all on the next one.